What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel and welcome back to our video. Today, I'll be previewing Joe Gibbs Racing as we head into the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series season. So anyways, let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. The first driver we're talking about from Joe Gibbs Racing is Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell is back behind the wheel of the number 20 car in 2025. Now, Christopher Bell in 2024 had a pretty solid and really good season. He had 3 victories, 15 top 5s, and 23 top 10s. Unfortunately for Christopher Bell, because of some race manipulation at the end of the event at Martinsville, he sadly was not able to make it to Championship 4, despite the fact probably being the best driver in the final 10 to 11 races of the season. Christopher Bell had a really strong year in 2024. Now, once again in 2025, Adam Stevens is going to be the crew chief, and Adam Stevens and Christopher Bell are the only duo that's not really changing for 2025 at Joe Gibbs Racing. Adam Stevens has been one of the best crew chiefs over the course of the last decade or so, and I think that Christopher Bell and Adam Stevens have gelled together very well over the course of the last couple years. So what are the expectations for Christopher Bell going into 2025? Well, the realistic goal is, number one, make it to the Championship 4. From 2022 and 23, he made the Championship 4. He's looking, I think, to do that, and that's one of the goals he will have for 2025, is to make it back to the Championship 4. The second goal is continue being the best driver at Joe Gibbs Racing. In my opinion, since 2022, I think Christopher Bell has been the best driver at JGR, and I think of him being the only team that's not really changing for the 2025 year, I think that they are going to have a really great chance and opportunity to be the best organization in this series. I'm looking for Bell to have multiple victories. I think he gets around 3 to 4 victories by the end of 2025. And I think this number 20 team is going to have the pace and the speed to contend on a week-by-week basis. I think Christopher Bell has been one of the best drivers in the Cup Series. There's talk about him maybe running the 8500 in the future too. But I think that Christopher Bell is going to have a really strong and great season in 2025. Again, I think the 20 team is one of the better all-around teams and organizations in the Cup Series. Up there are guys like Tyler Reddick and Kyle Larson. I think Christopher Bell is going to have a fantastic and really strong year, and I think the number 20 team will have the pace and speed, definitely be major threats and serious contenders in the 2025 NASCAR Cup season. We'll see what Christopher Bell and the 20 team can do in 2025 as Bell looks for his first ever NASCAR Cup Series championship in the 2025 season. The second driver we're talking about today from Joe Gibbs Racing is Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin is back behind the wheel of the number 11 car for Joe Gibbs Racing in 2025. Now, Denny Hamlin had a pretty solid year in 2024, picking up 3 wins, had 12 top 5s and 18 top 10s. The only issue for Denny Hamlin is most of those wins came in the first 12 to 13 events. His last Cup Series win came at Dover. That was in late April going into May. After a really strong start to 2024, this 11 team lost their sales after unfortunately getting a pretty massive and major engine penalty during the middle portion of the season. Now, there are some pretty massive and major changes coming for Denny Hamlin in 2025, as Chris Gabehart will not be the crew chief for Denny Hamlin in 2025, as Chris Gabehart will move over to the competition director role for the 2025 calendar year. He will have a new crew chief as Chris Gale, who worked with Ty Gibbs in 2023 and 2024. He will be the crew chief for Denny Hamlin in 2025. I believe that Chris Gale and Denny worked together 1 or 2 times in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, but this will be the first time that these two are working together and as teams in the NASCAR Cup Series. Now, what are the realistic expectations of Denny Hamlin in 2025? The realistic goal for Denny Hamlin in the 2025 season is to try to continue being a championship threat and contender and improve on and make up for some of the mistakes that happened in 2024. I think Denny Hamlin, though, is going to struggle a little bit in 2025 compared to 2024. I'm most worried about this duo because Chris Gale, no defense to Chris Gale, but he's not a fantastic Cup Series crew chief. He's a pretty good crew chief in Xfinity, winning a championship with Ty Gibbs in 2022, and also, of course, winning a lot of races accomplished in Xfinity competition as well. But I think Chris Gale has not been the best Cup Series crew chief, and I think this duo is going to struggle. But I do think Denny Hamlin is going to need a couple victories in 2025. Now, there is a really good chance and opportunity this could also be Denny Hamlin's final year in the NASCAR Cup Series, and if I'm not mistaken, this is a contract year for Denny Hamlin in the NASCAR Cup Series. So there's a really good chance and opportunity that Denny Hamlin could officially retire at the end of the year, but also could sign a multi-year extension with Joe Gibbs Racing. You never know. But historically, once drivers get up up to this point in their career, especially at this age, they tend to start struggling as time progresses and goes on. So I do worry about Denny Hamlin quite a bit in 2025. We'll see what he can do, but I think Denny Hamlin could end up definitely struggling a little bit in 2025, especially with a new crew chief. The third driver we're talking about with Joe Gibbs Racing is Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs is back behind the wheel of the number 54 car for Joe Gibbs Racing in 2025. Now, Ty Gibbs did not win a single race in 2024. However, he did score 8 top 5s and 12 top 10s. The first half of the season for Ty Gibbs in 2024 was very, very good and extremely promising. He had one of the best average finishes in the field, and it looked like early in the season on a week-by-week basis, he'd go out there and contend. But something happened in the second half of the season. Ty Gibbs started having a lot of engine issues, a lot of electrical issues. They had a lot of engine failures throughout the season. And then the final race at Phoenix kind of summed up the second half of the year, where Ty Gibbs unfortunately crashed on the first or second lap of the race, taking him out of contention. Now, in 2025, he will have a new crew chief for the season, as he will be picking up Tyler Allen as a crew chief for 2025. Tyler Allen had been the crew chief for the number 20 car in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2024, where he picked up 8 victories of drivers like Eric Almirola, Christopher Bell, and also other drivers like Ryan Truex as well. And the one thing about Tyler Allen, he's a much younger crew chief than Chris Gale. So Tyler Allen also is a racer, so he's going to be able to kind of get what Ty Gibbs is kind of looking for in 2025. Now, what are my expectations for Ty Gibbs going into the 2025 calendar year? The first big goal for Ty Gibbs in 2025 is to win his first race. Ty Gibbs is still looking for that first career NASCAR Cup Series victory. Historically, drivers take till about their 100th start to get that first win. I think that goal to get a win before the end of the year should be the number one goal. The other goal is to make the playoffs. The Cup Series field for 2025 is extremely stacked, and I think that Ty Gibbs is going to have some work to do if he's going to want to have a really great chance and opportunity to make the playoffs, because the field, like I said, is extremely stacked for the 2025 year. But Ty is an extremely talented race car driver who can absolutely get the best out of equipment. I think Ty's going to have a very solid year. I think he will show some improvement. I think especially working with a younger crew chief will definitely help him for sure. I expect Ty Gibbs to have a pretty strong, great season with this organization in the 2025 calendar year. And the fourth and final driver we're talking about from Joe Gibbs Racing today is Chase Briscoe. Chase Briscoe is a new kid on the block at this team for 2025, as he, of course, has left Stewart-Haas Racing, as that team is no longer around and has shut down. He will drive the number 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing full-time in 2025. His crew chief is going to be James Small, who was a crew chief for the previous driver behind the wheel of this number 19 car, and that, of course, was Martin Truex Jr. Now, Chase Briscoe had a decent year in 2024. He did pick up a win in the Southern 500, which propelled him to making the playoffs, and also got to the round of 12. He had 3 top 5s also and 9 top 10s. This is one of the kind of like the underrated silly season moves that happened of the 2024 season, because I feel like after the first week or so of the announcement happening, this silly season moment kind of went quiet in the industry. But Chase Briscoe is getting a career opportunity, and many people are saying he doesn't deserve this opportunity. He doesn't deserve this chance at the C, which I completely disagree. Chase Briscoe, when he's actually had top-tier equipment in his career, whether they go back to Xfinity or trucks, he has been super fast and super, super competitive. And I do believe that you look at this move for Briscoe going over there, it absolutely makes a lot of sense. And I think Jet Chase will have a pretty solid and pretty strong year in the 2025 season. I think it's going to be a great move for him. Now, what are my expectations for Chase Briscoe in 2025? I think Chase Briscoe is going to have a breakout season. I think he's going to pick up multiple victories by the end of the year. I think that Chase Briscoe and James Small are going to work a lot better together than basically Martin Truex Jr. and James Small worked. So I really think that these two are going to gel together super, super well throughout the 2025 campaign. I don't think he's going to make a chance and a run at a championship by any stretch of imagination, but I do have confidence in this duo potentially, and I do think that Chase Briscoe will have a pretty solid and really great season with this team in 2025. I think that the number 19 team will have the pace and speed, and I think Briscoe will be able to get a couple wins. I think he will have a career season at this team in 2025. I think it's going to be a great year for Chase Briscoe. Here's a couple other things to know about Joe Gibbs Racing. Obviously, Chris Gabehart no longer the crew chief for Denny Hamlin. He will be the competition director for Joe Gibbs Racing. He's been into making some of the big hirings over there. And then Chris Gabehart's going to be able to right the ship. They had a lot of issues in the second half of the year. They did not win since New Hampshire in June, so they really need to make that move. Chris Gabehart's going to be the crew chief, and I think Chris will be a very solid guy, not crew chief, basically the competition director. And then, of course, you do have the loss of FedEx. FedEx is no longer sponsoring Joe Gibbs Racing after being at the team since 2004 or 2005. They're no longer working with Joe Gibbs Racing for the 2025 year. I don't even know if they're going to be in NASCAR at all, to be honest. They've been backing out of their sponsorship stuff, especially in sports, and it seems like, especially with money issues coming into play for FedEx, they're no longer around. But it's a massive loss considering how long they've been working with Denny Hamlin and Joe Gibbs Racing. It's a massive loss for the sport, and definitely a huge loss to see they're no longer around. In addition, and basically above all, you look at Joe Gibbs Racing. A lot of big changes coming for the 2025 season, and hopefully some of these changes can lead to a lot of success. So what do I expect from JGR? Well, I think JGR will have a much better second half of the year than they had in the first half of 2024. I think they're going to be kind of back to where they were in the beginning of 2024, where they're going to be a lot more competitive, and I think there's going to be a lot of speed. I think all four drivers will go to victory lane at some point in 2025, and I think the pace and speed is generally going to be there for this team in the 2025 year. I think Cristobal's got a really good chance to make the championship four. I think Denny Hamlin's going to get a couple wins, but regress. Ty Gibbs will have a resurgence, and I think that Chase Briscoe will have a career in the NASCAR Cup Series in 2025. I expect the team to be solid and pretty strong in 2025. So, that is going to be for the 2025 Joe Gibbs Racing preview. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on so you notify when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links description below that, and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. What are your expectations for Joe Gibbs Racing in 2025? Let me know them in the comments below. Either you're going to see a silly season update on the channel tomorrow, or you're going to see a NASCAR news video discussing news over the course of the last couple days. Saturday, I'm going to be doing a video on 10 drivers who need to step it up in 2025. And on Sunday, I will have the NASCAR Xfinity Series predictions for the year. Monday, I'm probably going to either have the silly season update or NASCAR news video. I've got a lot of great content dropping. We'll talk to people like Haley Deegan, Connor Zillage, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Bubba Wallace, Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, you name it, and Shane Van Gisbergen too, over the course of the next couple weeks as we close out the end of this year, going into 2025. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, buddy.